Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Thanks so much for chatting with me. I believe actually the second season has already just dropped, maybe yesterday. But for people who haven't watched any of it yet, maybe you can just trail it for us a bit. What can they expect coming into this second season, revisiting 1960s Florida, Palm Beach's most elite country club? What they're going to find?
Wackiness. It is going to Cuckoo Town this year. Incredible guest stars, like present company not included. I mean, like Patty LuPone, John Stamos, on top of this incredible cast from the first season. I'm so lucky to be a part of the show. Like, I get to have hijinks with Kristen Wiig. You'll have to wait till Christmas Eve for our episode to come out, but it's well worth the wait and lots of fun and huge surprises in store up until then.
And what's it like joining a series that already has had its first season? I mean, I guess maybe there's some trepidation there. They might already have a shorthand with each other, but also maybe you were watching the first season like a fan. And so when you got that call, you just couldn't wait to get on set.
I mean, you have to understand, like, you go through the cast list and it's just a list of all Matt Rogers' favorite people. So, of course, I'm so excited to go be a part of it. And, just watching the well-oiled machine, I actually think is a huge opportunity. You know what I mean? It's like you get to see people that have that shorthand, but you also get to learn from that. I mean, these are people at the tip top of their craft. And I do mean in every regard, not just the actors and actresses that I just mentioned, but the hair and makeup people. I get such an unbelievable mustache in this show. It's actually really impacting my day-to-day life because now it's always top of mind. How am I going to grow that mustache in real life? So I'm so lucky and grateful and fortunate that I get to be a part of this because if you loved the first season, it's amped up to 15 out of 10. And so just watching people that really love being around each other, doing amazing work with a budget, it's incredible.
I mean, aside from any sort of more profound intellectual questions, I was going to ask you about the mustache. And, obviously the aesthetic of this show is just, off the chart. I believe even cars were being matched to your shirts. I mean, was it
Yes.
kind of like becoming the character, obviously partly getting into the mindset and who that person is, but perhaps all that, the hair and the costume and everything else, like actually helps you slot into that person even more easily.
Well, this is the first time I've ever done like period hair and makeup and a period show. And it's such a fun and delicious time in history to be able to step into, sartorially, aesthetically. And it really does help you find who these people are. Like once I realized the type of clothing I was going to be wearing on the show, I was like, I know this guy. I might have been this guy in 1969. And so, yeah, just all credit to these people who do such exhaustive research and finding out authentically what these people would have worn and how they would showcase their personalities through what their clothing is and the way they do their hair and the way they, groom themselves. It was such a help. And there's such attention to detail on this show. So you really can't fail once you are surrounded by people of this caliber in looks that are this rich. They actually like I went in for a fitting and I've never had a fitting like this. They measured every single crevice of my body exact. And I was like, oh, they must be making me like a suit. I show up and it's like hoochie shorts and a tank top. And I was like, I don't know why we needed the fitting, but I'm happy that we have them for my next job.
And thinking about the appeal of the show, I mean, I guess obviously, although we're in a period setting, there's so much that does speak to a universal time and audience in the sense that we're getting this sort of pastel hued, perfect image of the American dream, but simultaneously, unpicking its flaws, its dark side. What happens when you don't make the cut? And if you do make it, at what cost? So, what do you think some of the takeaways from a show might this be, and why does it chime with an audience like it has done?
I think that obviously season one starts with, Maxine, who's played by Kristen Wiig. Her number one goal is to get into the Palm Royale and prove that she fits in there and she fits in with high society. But then once she does, there's a whole lot of different issues and conflicts that arise. I believe a great poet once said, "Mo money, mo problems." And I think that that does speak to the reality of American life and of life in general. You know, we are constantly striving and we are constantly looking to get to the next level, whatever that is. But then I think that true happiness will evade you if you think that you're going to get everything you want from status or wealth or, you know, the perfect man on paper. You know, I think that there is a lot in this show that's about digging under the surface and realizing that the true humanity and the true connection is in a person's heart and not in what they're wearing and who they're surrounded by, because everyone's just pretending on surface value. That being said, though, it is also a blast in getting there. Like it's got those great themes, but also it's like, you know, people falling over into bushes and lots of like, you know, people are spies and you didn't realize they were. It's the craziest show, but once you really get down to what it's truly about, it's very heartwarming.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Huge congrats on being on the season. I can't wait for everyone else to see it. Thanks so much.